We have created a model which has properties of a natural system like the brain. It has an interpretation as a network of neurons. It is an unpredictable model. It will behave differently from what you would expect from a human. In other words, it's unrelatable, potentially even a kind of successor, next step in evolution of civilization. And it is
AGI.
It is AGI, and it is AGI which we don't understand.
Adrian Kossowski became a professor at the age of 23. On October 1st, 2025, the company Pathway published a paper he co-authored, a paper that many say will redefine artificial intelligence. For the first time, researchers introduced a model that merges artificial systems with the principles of biological intelligence. A new paradigm is emerging, one that could change how machines reason and how humanity shapes its future.
So we're in a place today where we see the connection between two paths of evolution of intelligence that had diverged in the past. The natural path of evolution that we see in nature, that we also see with the human brain, and the path of evolution of artificial intelligence, which has led up to breakthroughs such as the transformer. These two paths seem to have drifted apart to the degree that if you look at the structure of a machine learning model today, a language model, a model that's used for reasoning, you don't see any direct correspondence to the way of the natural systems like the brain work. So we've got to a place where we actually can find this missing link. We have created a model which is a model of artificial intelligence, which is similar in terms of deployment, in terms of architecture properties to models that you see out there, but at least as performant and in many ways more interesting at the same time, and has properties of a natural system, of natural systems like the brain. It has an interpretation as a network of neurons.
Will, because of you, AI reasoning like a human reasoning?
The big question about reasoning today and reasoning in artificial intelligence is really around its limitations. There are two main types of doubts about state-of-the-art reasoning models. The first kind of issue problem is their ability to solve longer problems, more complex problems than those that they were trained to solve. So this is broadly referred to as generalization over time. You may have seen some discussions in social media around the question whether reasoning models are actually able to think, whether they can generalize reasoning patterns coming from Apple research, from Sami Benjo's team. So this is kind of one kind of question which is a limitation of state-of-the-art reasoning models. The other type of question around their limitations is really one that is very subjective but very important. It concerns the unpredictability of reasoning models which reason in a different way than humans do. So if you say that, hey, this reasoning model generalizes its reasoning patterns differently than a human, it's saying that inherently it is an unpredictable model. It will behave differently from what you would expect from a human. In other words, it's unrelatable, not to say it will do things that are completely unexpected. So we have this aspect. The first aspect is the aspect of the ability to solve complex problems in reasoning. The other aspect is one of AI safety. And we see the work that we've done as establishing the crucial connection which brings reasoning models to closer to the way humans reason, as a stepping stone to solving the problem of generalization over time, also to provide the ability to reason in a way which can be seen as safe from the point of view of trusting such a model to eventually act autonomously, with quantifiable risk, meaning that such a model is not like a black box unknown, but we can say something about it.
I saw your paper, and this is not only theoretical work, right?
It is very practical work. It is a working model which can be implemented on today's hardware, which we have implemented. It runs on GPU, it runs on TPU. So you have a model which is practical, which already at the place where it is showing significant promise of becoming, let's say, a post-transformer architecture to take note of, with numerous advantages, especially in working with long chain of thought, super fast inference in terms of low inference latency, etc., etc. So from an engineering perspective, this is a highly competitive post-transformer model, which actually works around many of the obstacles or blockers for all state-of-the-art alternatives to the transformer. So we've actually managed to work out.
It means that what we are talking about is fully falsifiable.
It means that you can put your hands on it. You can use it. What we provide publicly is an implementation which shows how to use it efficiently internally. We are developing highly efficient implementations for specific use related to inference and reasoning on large data sets.
Is it, from your point of view, the biggest step for months or maybe years toward AI development?
It's easy to say things as an author. Maybe it's never going to be objective. There's one thing I can say for sure, that there's a certain pain, a certain discomfort, which is often irrational, but which has affected minds, some of the great minds working on intelligence in general, and it is with
AGI.
It is AGI, and it is AGI which we don't understand. AGI, which is some kind of something that, you know, if you want to think of AGI as a supplement or as a potentially even a kind of successor, next step in evolution of civilization, you kind of would want to have some idea that this is a step that we step into willingly, consciously, that we know what this step is. And it's AGI, which is predictable and somehow connected to the civilization that we've created so far, to the way humans would want it to be created, and AGI that kind of takes over in a responsible way.
But are we one step or a few steps closer?
It's definitely steps closer to AGI. That, like, AGI has many definitions, right? But AGI, some people will say that AGI is already today, because there are so many like general purpose tasks that models can perform. But we are definitely steps closer towards solving harder tasks, tasks that humans cannot solve today, or that would be too laborious for humans to solve.
We are in the center of Silicon Valley, and all laboratory here are working on what you have created, I think.
So what we are contributing today is perhaps one of the two crucial bricks remaining. It is at the same time an architecture brick, which you could say, hey, yet another model, but it is also a brick which provides for a different way, a different pattern of attacking harder problems which are out there related to systems that learn with experience, that do lifelong learning, and as a result are able to spend their whole life tackling more advanced, more ambitious problems. So we're contributing a brick which allows AI systems to work with more advanced tasks in the same kind of natural way as it would be for humans. If you think of challenges that today are familiar to everybody who is optimizing transformer-based architectures related to long context, etc., this is a kind of milestone that takes these challenges out of a picture, meaning, yeah, this part is done, we understand it, and we're resolving it in a way which is akin to how humans resolve it when dealing with problems of learning over long periods of time with lots and lots of context, the kind of lots of context that we accumulate in a lifetime.
When can we expect AI that reasoning would be compared to the human reasoning?
I think this is a brilliant question because, in a way, comparability, you can look at it from two angles. One is outcomes, and two is the way of getting to these outcomes. So, if you would want AI to actually think of things with the same ease in the same natural way as humans do, I think this is definitely a development in the right direction. I think we are on track to getting to a place in 1-2 years where reasoning gets indistinguishable from human reasoning patterns, at least as in the way that we can judge them. So obviously every system which is complex, which is large, is different. Every human reasons in a different way. But to the extent that we naturally compare our reasoning patterns, for example, if somebody's reasoning out loud with a kind of chain of thought that's voiced, if you look at this and you expect two systems to kind of say, when they compare notes about how they were reasoning, if they go along similar ways in such a way that you could think of this reasoning as plausible. So if you take the kind of reasoning sketchpad, the notes taken by this model when it was reasoning, and you read through them, and you are unable to say, hey, this was produced by a machine, or this was produced by a super intelligent human being, then we are getting to this place for longer and longer reasonings, and we'll be getting to a place where machines can probably overtake the length of reasoning that a single human can do in a lifetime within 2 years.
2 years?
This is a horizon which is relatively short. The caveat is that humans stand on the shoulder of giants. Civilization is one step beyond just being able to, what you can do in a lifetime. So if you think of AI that's able to develop a completely new mathematical theory that, that's the kind of thing that humanity would attempt over centuries, this is an effort which is something that still, I'm not saying will be done so quickly. It's one step further. But it is something that should eventually come.
What will be next? The end of the human race?
Most things are in our own hands, in a way. I think the message I would like to convey at this point is that reasoning models are getting to a place in which they are vitally important. They are a separate axis of concern to the other more kind of societal axis that we see every day, because on a daily basis we see that, hey, this model, this AI allows me to work faster, is automating some jobs that I'm doing, or is helping me in my job, and this has like a direct impact. That's the kind of day-to-day impact that we see that affects how society functions. So this is kind of one aspect, and it's really related to automation of the more immediate jobs, for jobs with a shorter lifespan, right? So this is one aspect. What I'd like to bring attention to today is perhaps the more like global aspect of AI that can actually pull off things that are extremely hard and extremely complex and take important strategic decisions. And essentially, this is a topic which is far more profound in terms of the way it will ultimately change the decision-making processes, the way society functions, the way society is managed, the way, like first at a smaller scale, let's not start with maybe the whole of society, but let's look at the way.
But this is positive
managed.
Scenario.
In terms of the difference, like in producing a tool, and in producing any tool, the important thing is for this tool to be useful. That's the first point.
Do you really think that AI is a simple tool?
No, I think that the objective of AI as such, the practical objective as AI, is to provide a tool for humans, and the decision whether this tool should be autonomous in a way, whether this tool and how it should be introduced in an autonomous way, is largely a decision to be taken by humans. I am very strongly kind of opposed to looking at scenarios in which AI is released in an uncontrolled or uncontrollable way. What I'm saying is that this the objective here is to deliver a tool which has the benefit that we can expect of it and has quantifiable risk, which means that there's a well-defined risk framework associated with it, one that is directly comparable to risks related to humans. And then if AI operates in a way which is comparable to humans, we can entrust it with jobs, with tasks, which are comparable to tasks that are being done by humans. So again, you can have...
Don't you think that AI is something more? That it's, a new sphere of human existence?
It is a conscious choice that we need to take as humanity, to what extent we want it to go beyond what it is today. Because the decision what tasks to entrust AI with, what operations, right? Whether in particular, you can go as far as saying that the task of AI is to govern human society, right? You could say it as humans we take this decision, and it's an irreversible decision that we entrust our society to AI. And this decision, if taken consciously, has its implications. I believe we are not ready yet to take this decision for multiple reasons. One, that kind of society is not ready. Second, that AI is not ready. And third, it's not clear if this is at all a good decision. But the way of looking at it is really looking at it from a point of view of trust and building a society which is based on trust, and allowing AI to come in the same places where we could trust humans to do jobs.
How is it possible that you started your study at 13 and you become professor in 23?
Well, as a child, I was drawn to mathematical problems. So at an early age, I was solving them regularly, helped and guided by my parents.
But 13?
So I went through the first grades of school rather fast. I started school in 4th grade at the age of 7, and then things moved on from there. So had the chance to spend a beautiful time of my life between age 13 and 20, discovering different aspects of science and technology, computer science, mathematics, physics. And
you are more mathematician, physicist, programmist?
I'm probably, at heart, I'm a physicist, which doesn't mean
the question, how does it work, your brain?
My brain works around patterns, graphs, connections, putting together connections. So if you look at problems of going from like A to B, even in the real world, you can start thinking of, hey, maybe I should go by this route, by another route, and you start thinking of different strategies by which you could find the best path and something. So for me, this is like a natural way of thinking, and I try to consciously adapt strategies which are best suited to a given problem. I try to have respect for the problem I'm solving, because different problems have different landscapes and require different reasoning patterns, especially if we speak of like problems that are not like solvable in one day, but that take a year or more to solve. I try to kind of lay out the landscape and try to consciously steer reasoning paths to the most likely path that they will, in given circumstances, lead to a solution. I'm probably a person who will speak up for I would say emancipation of mathematicians in giving them freedom to discuss the way they reason. It's a bit of a taboo topic because most mathematicians either don't or don't want to disclose the way in which they approach problems, they choose problems, they attack problems. I've actually seen like very unfortunate scenarios in which people tried to explain how they did their reasoning, how they thought about something, and were actually blamed or criticized or mocked even for reasoning in a strange way or for doing unclear reasoning. So there are many cases like this where in the past reasoning or describing what we would today call the reasoning case has been either frowned upon, or at least mathematicians were shy to disclose their reasoning cases. I think the advent of reasoning models, which kind of happened over the last year, is a good opportunity to say, hey, this is a reasoning case. Everybody knows that the reasoning case doesn't have to be formal. It's just something that works. Don't be shy to disclose it. Share with others for their benefit, basically, how you got there. It doesn't have to be like strict. It can be a hodgepodge of intuition. So I'm one who's one definitely for humans disclosing their reasoning cases, just as we look into models today with O1 and success as a deep seek. We can peek into the reasoning cases of models. Let's do that as humans, and I'm always happy to share mine.